Welcome back to another Rebel Rant. I'm trying so hard to get to bed. I just completed the Gamer Girl trailer video. Finally got it uploaded, and then while the video editing was converting to video, I stumbled across another story. This one's a few days old. According to this article, it's about 8 days old at the time of this recording. And I'm not entirely sure what to think of it. This is from theilluminerdi.com. I've actually never heard of them. I have absolutely no idea how accurate their information is. So at this point, you can take it on speculation. But here's what they have to say. And here's the breakdown. So it's actually been known for a while that Hasbro was planning on doing some sort of sequel or reboot. And according to the Illuminerdi, it is going to be a reboot. And as Hollywood has proven in recent years, the whole reboot thing is just, it never works. It doesn't work. The primary reason being that modern reboots, they're an attempt to retcon the original series. That's usually the driving factor. And with this article, this reboot seems to be following that exact pattern. So Hasbro has control of the Power Rangers, at least as far as the movies go. And here's what Illuminerdi is saying about it. And here's the key thing that we're going to be focusing on. According to Illuminerdi, they were told that Hasbro is looking for a quote-unquote diverse cast for this particular film. And that is not so secret code for pretty much a disaster at this point. Anytime they're looking for a diverse cast, they're looking for actors and actresses based on genetic attributes rather than actual acting skill, for starters. And it doesn't matter what the business is, acting, technology, medical. That is the worst possible criteria for hiring somebody. You want somebody that's qualified and has the talent and the skills to get the job done. But that's modern America. That just seems to have been tossed to the wayside altogether at this point. And when they say diverse, not only are they talking about skin color, but they're also specifically looking for members of the alphabet community. And if you've heard anything, watched any videos regarding the Batwoman TV series, I'm sure you have a pretty good idea how that typically turns out at this point. And they're also looking to cast a female lead for this movie. And we'll get to these points here in a second. They'll be bringing back Lord Zed, who was a main villain back in the day, and some Zordon I'm not familiar with. I did watch the Power Rangers when I was younger, and basically just lost interest. Stopped watching them a long time ago. But with this last movie in 2017, it was considered a critical flop, kind of. But I didn't see it in the theater. When I finally got around to seeing it on DVD or Netflix or whatever, I can't actually remember where I saw it. It actually turned out to be a pretty good movie. And it might have been Redbox, actually. And no, I'm not getting paid to sponsor anybody, just so you know, just FYI. But the movie itself was actually not bad. It was actually pretty good. Especially being an adult, it didn't seem quite like a kids movie. And I mean, there were issues with the story and everything, but they weren't terrible. They didn't ruin the movie or anything like that. You could, being a completely fictional world, it was easy enough to gloss over them and disregard them. And overall, I actually rather enjoyed it. So the fact that the critics panned it isn't a surprise. Modern movies are just a hot mess. And critics will give a movie a high rating as long as it ticks off the correct check boxes. It has absolutely nothing to do with the actual quality of the movie. So it's really not too surprising that they panned the 2017 movie, in spite of the fact that it was actually pretty good. Personally, I think it does deserve a sequel. But of course, I don't own Hasbro, and it's not my call. However, and this is disappointing because, I've been a fan of like G.I. Joe and Transformers since I was a kid. As a child, I really enjoyed playing with those toys. And it's really disappointing to see Hasbro go down this path, if this information is true. So keep in mind, I have no idea on the veracity of this information or this website. But they are claiming to have some sort of insider information. And as their update says, they are claiming that this new movie will take place in the same continuity as the TV show. And if that's true, it will absolutely be a disaster if the rest of this information is correct. Now, a lot of channels, like every time this comes up to a T, every single channel that engages in this kind of commentary, they always say, oh, I don't have a problem with the alphabet people. I don't have a problem with the alphabet agenda. But then they turn around and they criticize these movies in a direct cause of why these movies fail is because of the alphabet agenda. So it's a little confusing for me. I don't know if they're just trying not to offend somebody or what the case may be. But the simple fact is, I've had it with this alphabet malarkey being shoved in my face. I've had it. I don't like it in my entertainment. I don't like being forced to think about it. The simple fact that somebody is part of this alphabet agenda, you already have an intimate knowledge of what they do in their spare time behind closed doors. I don't need to know that. That is not something that I want to know about somebody. We have a right to privacy for a reason. So when this stuff is forced into our entertainment, shoved in our face, and they are attempting to force us to consume these agendas while paying money for it, I am not okay with that. Plain and simple. I'm not going to sit here and try not to offend somebody. This is what I think, and this is how I feel. As is my right as an American. If they want to cancel me for it, they can try. I've had far worse happen to me in my lifetime. So no, I am not okay with this. Not one bit. And the fact that they're looking to cast a female lead, I'm also not okay with that either. Every viable major lead in the last decade that was once a male they've been steadily flipping them into female genders. Instead of creating new characters that might have original appeal, they're taking old characters and playing around with them. And that is not how you create a property. That's not how it's done. And personally, I'm getting tired of it. So in either of these cases, in either of these points, if either one of them is true, there's no chance I'm going to be catching this movie. I will not waste my time or my money supporting these kinds of agendas. And to make matters worse, if this isn't giving you flashbacks to the Disney Star Wars fiasco, which spans several movies, including the sequel trilogy to the original series, then you've probably been sleeping in a cave or under a rock for the last 5 years or so. This has become a tried and true pattern in Hollywood, and you can see what the results are going to be from a mile away. If these rumors are true, I can't stress this enough. I do not know this information to be factual. I don't know anything about this website, but with the caveat that if this information is true, this is my prediction. The movie is going to bomb. They are going to retcon the entire series going back, been 3 decades, roughly. They're going to do their best to erase the original storylines and replace them with new, updated, woke SJW style origins. If you don't believe me, then you need to do a bit of research into Disney Star Wars, because that's exactly what they did. Star Wars is arguably the biggest movie franchise on the planet, and Disney did the unthinkable. They ran it into the ground. And this really shouldn't be a surprise at this point, but Rey is a Palpatine, and she erased the legacy of Luke Skywalker and every major male character in the original movies and replaced it with her own. It's some of the worst storytelling that I've ever witnessed in my life. And based on this article, if it is true, I will bet you dollars to donuts that they're going to pull a Rise of Skywalker. This is just, oh my goodness. It really does make my head hurt. I'm not joking around about that. It literally makes my head hurt thinking about it. Trying to process it. It's just so beyond the pale, to say the least. And they know it's not going to succeed. That's why they have to take established characters and warp them into their own vision. Because if they create new characters, as exemplified by Safe Place and Snowflake for the new Warriors, people will reject them outright. And it's because the average person doesn't want anything to do with this alphabet agenda, whether people are willing to admit it publicly or not. Which is why they have to pull this bait and switch. They take these established characters and they completely warp them into something that is unrecognizable. So I'm not going to sit here and harp on this. At this point, as far as I'm concerned, it's rumor. However, with the direction that Hollywood has taken in the last 10 plus years, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, it's entirely possible and quite plausible that this information is accurate. So, with that said, if it is true, my prediction is that this movie will retcon the entire Power Rangers history and mythos, as well as bomb at the theater. Even if it makes money, if it breaks even, that's still considered a bomb, a flop, in my book. Rise of Skywalker made $1 billion, and it was all counts, it was a terrible movie. It did not make the money that it should have made, and it's, if you look at the raw numbers from the original trilogy, compare them to the Disney trilogy, the budget to revenue ratio is completely skewed, completely different. And just those numbers alone show how much of a difference, how much more successful the original trilogy really was. I have those numbers in one of my previous videos, and they're very easy to look up. And I predict the same thing for this Power Ranger movie if this information is accurate. So with that said, make sure to always dig beneath the surface. And this has been another Rebel Rant.